Why have we stopped recommending some of our past favorite Disney World hacks? Because they're busted. They don't work anymore. We're here to take out the trash today and put those old Disney hacks to the curb. But we're also going to share some of the tried and true tips that have stood the test of time. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Over the years, we've given a lot of tricks and hacks on this channel, kind of like cheat codes for a video game. But instead of helping you track down the princess in another castle, we're helping you cheat your way through the Disney parks to save money and maximize your time and be prepared for any curveballs the parks are going to throw at you, because they're going to do that. However, things change in Disney World. Things change all the time. So the hacks that used to work in Disney won't necessarily work the next time you go. Today, we're giving you an updated list of tried and true hacks that still work in the parks that you need to keep using versus a list of the ones that are now busted, which you need to forget about. Okay, because we always want to start with the most important stuff, we're going to start with the hacks that still work, the tricks you can still use in Disney World, and you should. The first one, adults can order kids' meals at quick service restaurants. The day this hack is busted will be a sad, sad day for me indeed, because I use this dining strategy all the time to save money and stomach space to fill up on more snacks later. Adults are more than welcome to order kids' meals at quick service restaurants throughout Disney World. Nope, this isn't going to be the same case for table services and signature restaurants, but Disney's quick service locations are basically theme park fast food joints. And much like your McDonald's or Burger King back home, the people taking your order aren't going to care if the Happy Meal you're ordering is for a kid or an adult, which I'm really thankful for because I ordered my fair share of Happy Meals when they had the Crocs toys available. Speaking of which, does anyone know what to do with a dozen mini Crocs? Asking for a friend. Anyway, oftentimes ordering kids' meals at Disney World quick services can come in handy when you're just looking for something small and quick that hits the spot, like, I don't know, chicken tenders. My favorite way to do this is via mobile order on the My Disney Experience app. That way I can just pick out the kids' meal that I want from the restaurant that I want without waiting in line for it, and then I can go pick up my kids' meal when my return window approaches. Gasparilla Island Grill hates to see me come in for that mac and cheese. Now, I especially love getting the kids' meals at places like Satuli Canteen in Animal Kingdom for its cheeseburger pods. The kids' meal is served with vegetable chips, a Cuties orange, and a drink for around $9. And you can get smaller customizable bowls there for around $9 too. Columbia Harbor House in Magic Kingdom, grilled salmon, fried shrimp, or shrimp skewer options at kids' meal sizes. Each comes with your choice of side and a drink for about $9. Woody's Lunchbox in Hollywood Studios, you can get that grilled cheese sandwich specifically that comes with potato barrels, a Cuties orange, and a drink for $7. I also like to add a cup of tomato soup to this one because eating grilled cheese without tomato soup just is not okay. And here's one you might not be expecting: La Cantina de San Angel in Epcot for their empanadas con queso or chicken tacos, which both come with a side of fruit, a drink, and a side of chips and nacho cheese for around $9.50. And like I said, I am always 1000% going to get the chicken tenders kids meal and the mac and cheese kids meal over at Gasparilla Island Grill at Grand Floridian Resort. Like every single time I go. It's like my comfort meal when things get too chaotic in Disney World and my anxiety starts to spike. I just go to Gasparilla and I hide out in one of their little booths and I just eat mac and cheese and chicken tenders. I don't know, self-care. Okay, moving on. Next tip / trick / hack that still works. Get in line for the rides during the fireworks. Depending on how you feel about Happily Ever After in Magic Kingdom or Fantasmic in Hollywood Studios or Luminous in Epcot, maybe this hack never actually worked in your favor, because how could you even fathom skipping out on a Disney fireworks show? Isn't that the heart and soul of the parks? Well, sure, but for those who aren't as keen on the nighttime spectaculars and their crowds, or for those who've seen these shows before and don't mind missing them, if it means cutting down on their ride wait times, this is still a solid hack that we've been using for years. Ride wait times for even the most popular rides tend to drop down significantly right before and during these big park shows. So while everyone else is crowded around Cinderella Castle, sobbing uncontrollably at the floating lantern sequence, sorry, that's just Bria, you could potentially be in line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and only have to wait half of the time that you would have had to wait during the peak of the day, so 30 minutes instead of 60 plus. But like I said, even though this hack still works, it's not necessarily practical for every group. Families with younger kids, for instance, might need to dip out of the parks even before the fireworks begin to get cranky kids into bed at a decent hour. Not saying your kids are cranky, sorry, that's me projecting. And if this is going to be your first time in Disney World, or you just really love the pomp and circumstance of a fireworks show, then you might have to treat this hack like a silver case and say no deal. You know, maybe because of Deal or No Deal, like that game show. Is it even on anymore? I literally don't know. But if you feel like you could take or leave any of those end of the night spectaculars, the wait times for the rides really do drop down drastically during this time. Now, if you're looking for different ways to cut down on your ride waits and you're trying to find out the best strategy for knocking out every single Disney World ride during your next visit, I know you can do it. Go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or head over to disneyfoodblog.com/DisneyRides and we'll send you our free guide to help you accomplish exactly that. Again, we've done it. I know you can do it. So go ahead and grab that free guide. Next tip/hack that still works, using a grocery app. So this is actually a more recent Disney hack we've been using a lot more lately, but I just wanted to let y'all know that, yep, still working like a charm. Mostly. As long as you use it the right way. Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet, though. Let's talk about the wonderful world of grocery delivery services. It may seem silly for Disney Food Blog to be recommending grocery delivery services since we're usually all about reviewing the best Disney restaurants around property, but getting food delivered to your hotel from an app like Kroger Delivery is actually extremely useful for several reasons. If you're feeling under the weather, you can get groceries delivered to your resort lobby without you having to go and scavenge for food elsewhere or OTC meds. If you're wanting a late night snack, a grocery order that you placed earlier means you'll have those late night sweet and savory snacks already on hand in your hotel room. This is critical for me because even though I feel like I'm eating all day every day, by 1 a.m. I'm starving and nothing's open. There's no place for me to get food, and so I learned a long time ago to have some snacks in my fridge in the hotel so that I can actually eat something and get to sleep. Because those of you who've watched the channel for a long time know that I've had my fair share of 24/7 open all night gas station sandwiches, like sitting pathetically on the side of my bed in my hotel room, like eating a sandwich out of a plastic wrap bag. It's not okay. Like, just get your snacks that you like and have them already in your room. I always go for like cheese and crackers and grapes. Another reason why this can be helpful is if you want a quick breakfast in your room before you leave for the parks instead of having to take time out of your morning to track down food. So a grocery delivery can be like dry cereals, mini donuts, granola bars, oatmeal. Bria wants me to say unfrosted Pop-Tarts, but she is completely wrong. As we all know, frosted Pop-Tarts are the only Pop-Tarts, right? I don't even think you can call unfrosted Pop-Tarts Pop-Tarts. Anyway, Bria and I will sort this out later. And another good reason to have delivery is if you have a specific dietary need you want to make sure is accommodated during your trip. Grocery delivery apps can help put your mind at ease, guaranteeing you have those safe foods at your hotel so you can take them in the parks with you. This also works for things like stuff your children have to eat, like they won't eat anything else except Cheerios this week, or they won't eat anything else except a very specific brand of cookies that Disney doesn't sell. Believe me, I wandered around Disney World like for a million years looking for Cheerios. They don't sell Cheerios because they have a deal with Kellogg's. They only sell Kellogg's cereals, and Cheerios are General Mills. These are things you learn when you have a toddler who literally won't eat anything else. And of course, you can have groceries delivered so it can save you money on food and drinks, especially water bottles, since a bottle of water can cost $5 in the parks, and you can purchase a whole case of water for $5 from a grocery delivery app. Yeah, so needless to say, pretty big fans of being able to deliver groceries right to our hotel. But before you go and place that order, just remember that grocery apps aren't like microwavable meals. So don't expect your order to automatically be delivered when you place it. These types of deliveries usually take a little more time than fast food like Uber Eats or DoorDash, since the store will have to track down each of your items. But grocery delivery services will usually give you a window of time for when they're expected to make that drop-off happen, so you most likely won't need to stay glued to your hotel after ordering. You should be able to go off and enjoy your day and come back a little before your window of time hits. Now, if you happen to be away from the hotel when your food is delivered to the lobby, that's actually okay, as long as no ID verification, like if you get alcohol, or signature is required. Your hotel may be able to accept the order on your behalf. This is subject to each hotel's policies, so it may be unavailable at the time of your visit. Definitely check with them, but most hotels will accept a delivery for you and keep it safe for you. Next hack that is absolutely on our always do list is bring those plastic baggies. I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but do yourself a favor and stock up on those plastic bags before your trip to store away in your park backpacks. I'm being so serious. These baggies may seem like an insignificant addition at first, but they become a major game changer real fast, and that's why you're always going to hear me talking about them. I've used plastic baggies in the parks for decades, and they still come in handy. So first way to use them, if you want to snack around the parks and you're not able to finish all of your snacks, go ahead and throw them in a Ziploc baggie, take them back to your hotel, throw them in your refrigerator, and there you go, you got breakfast for tomorrow. I especially do this with my carrot cake cookie from Hollywood Studios because it's way too big for me to eat all at once. Also, they serve it a little bit cold, and I like it to warm up a little bit before I eat it. So I just throw it in a Ziploc baggie, take it with me, and break off little pieces of it throughout the day. And then when I get back to my hotel, I eat it for dessert that night. Plastic bags are also super good if you want to keep your technology dry during one of those infamous Orlando monsoons, or if you're going to be taking a splash on Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Magic Kingdom or over in Kali River Rapids in Animal Kingdom, and you're afraid your backpack/purchase isn't exactly water resistant enough to keep the contents inside dry. Speaking of which, plastic bags don't just help prevent dry things from getting wet, but they also help prevent wet things from damaging your dry bag. For example, let's just say it rained a whole lot and your socks are soaking wet. If you're prepared for this possibility, you might have a second pair of dry socks handy you can change into to keep from having to wear soaked ones all day long. But if you don't want to throw away your soaked socks because they're still good socks, just soggy, then you can slip them in a plastic bag for now and keep that dampness sealed in and avoid damaging your dry items. Now, if you are a parent or guardian of little kids, you also know things get wet when they shouldn't when you have little kids. And there are those really expensive fancy schmancy dry bags that you can buy, but you can also just bring a couple of big gallon size plastic bags and throw all the wet stuff in there. It does the same job. Oh, and Disney is also trying to sell those really, really expensive like lollipop savers or sucker savers that you're gonna pay like several dollars for in the parks because of course your kids are gonna buy a sucker and they're gonna take like 3 licks of it and then they're gonna be done with it. Well, we always just put those in a Ziploc bag. Why would I spend a bunch of extra money on something that I'm only gonna use once, right? Right. Now, if you're not a huge plastic bag fan because you don't want to keep throwing them away, you might prefer getting reusable silicone bags instead. They're dishwasher safe, so you don't have to worry about hand washing them each time, and they're still less expensive than like those dry bags or those Disney branded lollipop savers. And some more hacks that still work are all of these reservation hacks. As we're getting ready to launch our 2025 DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining, the team and I have been going through and making sure that all those dining hacks we love to recommend are still good and relevant for y'all. But for the sake of today's video, I decided to cherry pick some of those dining reservations tips that we're carrying over to our new guide, just to give you a little glimpse into what this digital book has to offer. Guidebook hack number 1, refresh the My Disney Experience app for reservations. This goes beyond getting dining reservations. It also works for lightning lane times and mobile order times. Just refresh the page and cross your fingers that something new will pop up, because usually it does. If you don't get the dining reservations you were hoping for when your advanced dining reservation window opened 60 days before your visit, do not panic. You can continue to refresh and check the app daily to see if reservations become available later on. Often they do become available since Disney recently relaxed their dining reservation policy. Now reservations can be canceled just 2 hours before your dining time, meaning reservations can continuously pop up even on the day of your visit too. Guidebook hack number 2, find reservations on OpenTable.com. Some restaurants at Disney World aren't owned by Disney directly, but they can still be found on the My Disney Experience app when you want to make reservations. That being said, these non-Disney owned restaurants are sometimes also available to book on OpenTable. This is an app that allows you to make dining reservations at many of those Disney World third-party restaurants, especially around Disney Springs. By using OpenTable, you can find reservation times for certain restaurants that might not be showing any availability on the My Disney Experience app. And some of them are available earlier than they are available on the My Disney Experience app. So some restaurants you can book 90 days out on OpenTable, but only 60 days out on My Disney Experience. Guidebook hack number 3, discover dining reservations way easier. Earlier in 2024, the My Disney Experience app updated to make snagging those popular Disney restaurant reservations a whole lot easier. This is brilliant. I've been waiting for this for years and years and years and years and years. Now you can view dining availability for multiple days at a time time to add a little bit more flexibility to your trip. So if I really want to dine at, say, Cinderella's Royal Table, and I don't care what day I go there, I want to build my whole trip around going to Cinderella's Royal Table, then I can look and see if there are any Cinderella's Royal Table reservations for the entire time I'm going to be there. Used to be you could only look at one day at a time. Now you can look at all these days, and I'm so happy. Anyway, to use this feature on your My Disney Experience app, you'll start by looking for reservations as usual. Press the plus button on the My Disney Experience home screen and select Check Dining Availability. You'll then choose your party size, start date, and time. Once the screen loads, you'll notice a Check Availability for Multiple Days button beneath each restaurant. Tap on that button and it'll direct you to the restaurant's personal reservation page, where you'll find a calendar showing all the available dining reservations 60 days out. When you select your first date, the app will show you a selectable reservation range for you to choose from for up to 10 days. Super handy dandy. Now we're moving on to those Disney World hacks that are busted. We're going to start with always staying in the parks from rope drop till sundown. We're starting off with a debatable one here because rope dropping a park in general still isn't a bad idea. It's just rope dropping every single day and running your whole group ragged that's going out of style for us. But let me backtrack real quick. Rope drop is a phrase that basically means entering the parks right when they open up for the day. And people love to do this because they can get in lines for rides when they're potentially going to be a lot shorter waits, since not everyone's going to be rising and shining and being the early bird who gets the worm. Early theme park entry takes this concept one step further and gives all guests staying at a Disney-owned hotel a 30-minute head start before the park's rope drop each day. So here's the thing. I'm not anti-rope drop or early theme park entry, and I'm also not anti-staying in the parks until they close up shop. I've done both of those. I think this can be a great way to bypass the thick ride lines, especially during Disney's busier seasons. And you might still want to rope drop every day of your visit if you're only planning on taking a short weekend Disney World vacation, so you can get in as much time at the parks as possible. However, if you're going to be in Disney World with your family for a week straight and you're planning on staying in the park from sunup till sundown every day, then you're apt to hit that mid-vacation slump hard when your family starts to get burnt out of waiting in long lines and might be a whole lot crankier than usual during the second half of your visit. It happens all the time, even though none of us want to believe it's going to happen to us. And I'm not just talking about cranky kiddos. I've seen my fair share of cranky adults who are just one ride breakdown away from a breakdown themselves. And I'll admit it, I've been that adult who's pushed to the edge too. You walk around the Magic Kingdom with me on day 4 of a constant sun-up to sundown Disney World visit, and you bet your bottom dollar that the next quick service that tells me they're all out of plastic cheese will be my breaking point, and I'm going to have to hightail it over to the People Mover to get back into my happy place again. Now, even if you're a morning person, you're apt to hit that afternoon crash when you combine being on your feet for hours on end and the relentless sun shining down on you, dealing with crowds, eating food that maybe isn't as healthy as the food you would normally be eating. Plus, while lines do tend to be shorter at the start and end of the day, you also have to think about those transportation crowds that'll be scrambling to get into the parks and scrambling to leave them again. Those crowds break up once you're inside the parks, but since they all have to initially congregate at the front gates and in the transportation lines, things can get way too peoply and make you feel like a sardine squished up against everybody else. And that can take a huge mental toll on you when you're experiencing that over and over and over again, day in and day out, especially if you're like me and a confirmed introvert. So here's my advice to you that'll help you still take advantage of those early morning and late night park hours without causing your whole group to hate each other and hate Disney by the end of your vacation. First, select some rope drop or early theme park entry days and skip it for others. Take a look at your group's priorities for each park and figure out which days might be more of a rope drop necessity versus the rest. If you're going to be in a certain park for more than one day, you might not need to rope drop it since you'll have more of a safety net to work with. Or if you're not as big on riding some of those top tier rides, rope dropping might not be as big of a necessity for your group either, since you won't have to worry about skipping over those lengthy standby queues. Second tip, plan those break days. My family and I tend to experience the 3-day slump in Disney, meaning vacation adrenaline is still pretty high on those first 2 days, but drops off significantly once you hit day 3. So much like putting your phone on the charger after after using it constantly, you might want to put your trip on the charger too by factoring in a day during your trip where your group can sleep in, take it easy, and charge their excitement for the second half of the vacation. And for the record, a break day doesn't mean you sit around and do nothing all day long. You can still get up whenever everyone's ready to start the day and do something easygoing like relax by the pool, eat at a nice Disney resort restaurant, or have a shopping day over at Disney Springs. Or you can break the group up. Some people want to lay in bed all day. That's okay. And the rest of the folks maybe want to go shopping at Disney Springs. That's fine too if you have a couple of adults who can kind of break up the situation for you. Too many people get stuck in that whole, well, we're vacationing as a family, so we have to do everything together. And it's like, no, you absolutely don't. Please give each other some time off from one another and do things that help you to rest and recharge. Okay, tip number 3, see if you can use extended evening hours benefits. Perhaps you'd rather sleep in on a park day, and instead of taking advantage of early theme park entry for shorter wait times, you take advantage of your resort's other theme park perk. Extended evening hours are available for deluxe resort guests only and give you the opportunity to stay in certain parks on certain nights up to 2 hours after they close for everyone else. For deluxe resort guests, this can be a great alternative option if your group isn't exactly the early to bed, early to rise sort. But again, value and moderate resort guests aren't going to be able to use this late night benefit. That being said, the Disney parks do offer after hours events tickets on select nights during certain times of the year for those who want to stay 3 extra hours after the parks close. These tickets can be expensive, but they might be a better option for your group versus a regular day ticket if you want to sleep in, take things easy in the afternoon, and then hit up as many rides as you can when nighttime rolls around. 4th tip, take afternoon breaks if you can. I know it can be hard to pull away from the parks, but believe me when I say just taking an hour or two to escape them and either take a nap back at your hotel room or check out a nearby resort and just rest for a while can be a game changer and refuel you for the rest of your day. I do this all the time with Magic Kingdom visits. I'll just hop on the monorail, head over to Polynesian Village, order a Lapu Lapu and a pineapple from the Tambu Lounge, and grab a seat on the beachside and just chill for a while. Or if it's a super hot day, then I take a seat right in the lounge where there's AC. Sometimes that ends up being my favorite part of the day, and it definitely gives me a recharge so I can handle the rest of what's coming at me for the rest of the day. I just can't say this enough. People think that because they paid so much for this Disney vacation, it's going to be perfect. It's not necessarily going to be perfect. You're the same person at Disney that you were at home, and that means that stress and idiosyncrasies still exist, even in the Disney bubble. So plan ahead for that and make sure that everybody's kind of got an opportunity to chill when they need to. Okay, next busted hack is you need to stay on property for the best benefits. Since we've been talking about early theme park entry and extended evening hours, it's time to debunk another Disney World hack that's not really true anymore. Once upon a time, we might have told you to stay on property because staying on property came with the best hotel perks, and that can be true to a certain extent. Disney World hotels will still keep you inside the Disney bubble all trip long, provide you with free transportation to the parks, offer on-site activities throughout the day, have convenient dining options only steps away from your hotel room, and of course, give you those extra hours park benefits you can use whenever you see fit. But just because Disney offers these hotel benefits and perks doesn't mean other nearby hotels can't do something similar or offer even the exact same things too. And Disney's removed several perks that used to make this hack a no-brainer, like the Disney Magical Express, which was a free shuttle to take you from MCO to your Disney hotel and back to the airport again at the end of your trip. Now you gotta pay for your airport transportation if you don't already have a family member in the area willing to take on the Orlando traffic to pick you up. Plus, room service and package delivery, which I'm actually gonna talk about more here in just a second, because these missing perks were some of the greatest hacks back in the day. Several of Disney's Good Neighbor hotels that partner with Disney but aren't owned by them have a lot of the same perks that Disney resorts offer, but at a more affordable price point. For example, lots of nearby hotels have shuttle services to the parks and back again, and while those shuttle services might be a little less frequent than Disney's, they'll still bring you to and from the parks. As far as on-site activities are concerned, those nearby hotels might not have Disney events happening all day long, but several of them still have really nice pools with maybe even lazy rivers and water slides, dining right off from the lobby or chain restaurants within walking distance, arcade areas, and even rooms with fireworks views, like you can find at the Holiday Inn Orlando inside the Disney Springs area. And when it comes to those extra park hours perks, guess what? Many nearby non-Disney hotels offer you the same perks too. Here's a full list of all the non-Disney hotels that'll give you that early theme park entry perk in 2025. Now don't forget, if you're planning on staying at one of these non-Disney hotels, but you want to use that early theme park entry perk, you're going to need to make sure Disney associates your Good Neighbor hotel booking with your My Disney Experience account so you can get into the park. To do this, go to the Disney World website, click on the My Disney Experience tab, select the My Plans option from the drop-down menu, and log into your account. Click on the resort hotel and then choose to link a reservation. You'll be asked to type in your last name and your hotel confirmation number. But wait, what about extended evening hours? Is that just a Disney Resort thing? Nope. If you're staying at the Swan and Dolphin hotels, the Swan Reserve, or the Shades of Green Hotel, then you'll also have access to extended evening hours. And for all you Marriott Bonvoy members out there, that might be a better deal for you to go with since you can earn and or use points when you stay at the Swan and Dolphin or Swan Reserve, which are all owned and operated by Marriott. Some non-Disney hotels even offer perks that the Disney hotels won't give you, like free breakfast, discount coupon booklets for nearby restaurants, complimentary snacks and refreshments throughout the day, and oh yeah, rooms that can be less than $100 per night, depending on what time of year you're traveling. Just takes a little extra research on your end to see which type of hotel stay is going to work best for your family and your budget. But all of this to say, nope, staying at a Disney hotel isn't the only way to collect the best vacation perks. Okay, next hack that is busted is having gift shop purchases delivered to your hotel. The reason why this hack doesn't work anymore is because it's literally been obsolete for years now. After the 2020 closures, Disney's hotels removed some of our favorite offerings that we used to think were amazing park hacks back in the day. And while we've been crossing our fingers for their return, our fingers are starting to cramp up now from being crossed for so long. One of the main hotel perks we were so sad to lose, and many of you I know feel the same way because you've told me in the comments of past videos, was package delivery. Yeah, my friends, there was a time when you could have anything you bought at Disney World shipped back to the front of the park or even to your hotel instead of lugging it around with you all day long. But alas, those days have been gone for years. So your best bet as of now is to plan on making those major purchases at the end of the day or storing bulky souvenirs in one of the lockers available at the front of the park, which will cost an extra fee. But you know which park hotels brought back their package delivery back in 2022? Disneyland's. While you can't use package delivery at the Disneyland gift shops on the final day of your trip, since packages being delivered to your hotel room won't arrive until the next day, it is so nice to see this as an available option on the West Coast. And we're hoping the East Coast might follow suit someday. And get this, Universal Orlando's hotels also have package delivery, so if you're planning on going over to Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, and or the new Epic Universe Park next year, staying on Universal property might be more tempting for this perk alone, as well as several other perks that make your Universal Park visits a whole lot more convenient. You know what else Disney's been missing in their hotels since 2020? Room service. Room service disappeared from Disney World hotels following COVID, which I totally understand. We were all trying to play it safe and keep each other healthy. But now, short of some sporadic returns, mainly over at the Grand Floridian, room service doesn't seem like it's going to be returning anytime soon. Though, who knows? Disney's been known to shock me before, and it's bound to shock me again, for better or for worse. Hopefully for better. You can still pick up to-go items at your hotel's quick service or at select table service locations too. Just don't expect cast members to be able to deliver those items up to your room for you. And guess what? You can no longer skip popular meet and greet lines with Lightning Lanes. On July 24th, 2024, Disney Genie Plus was kicked to the curb and replaced by a new service called MultiPass. Both premium add-ons are the same when it comes to what they can and could offer you for the parks, which are Lightning Lanes to help you bypass the main standby queue lines for attractions. But there's a reason for this add-on switcheroo in Disney World that goes beyond just a name change. The biggest change is when you can start making your Lightning Lane selections. Back in the days of Genie Plus, you could purchase this service starting at midnight on the day of your park visit and book your first Lightning Lane at 7 a.m. But now, thanks to MultiPass, you can make up to 3 Lightning Lane MultiPass selections in a park in advance of your visit, starting either 7 days before your hotel check-in day, if you're staying on property, or 3 days before your first park day if you're staying off property. Additionally, you can choose available times as you make your attraction selections and can continue to hold up to 3 Lightning Lane multi-pass choices at a time. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole 120-minute rule that we used to recommend for Genie Plus because it was always tricky to explain anyway, and we don't have to explain it anymore since it's no longer a Lightning Lane hack that you can use. But let's just say, back when Genie Plus was still around, there was a way that you could keep stacking your Lightning Lanes to potentially hold on to 3 or 4 at a time instead of just holding on to strictly 1 at a time. But with MultiPass, you really don't have to worry about stacking anything. You'll always be able to hold on to 3 Lightning Lanes max at all times, all day long. So once you use one of your Lightning Lanes, just pick another. Easy peasy. Nope. The other change I actually want to talk about more is what's not available as a Lightning Lane anymore, ever, since the MultiPass takeover, and that's character meet and greets. With Genie Plus, you had the option to use Lightning Lanes to bypass some of those popular stationary character meet and greets instead of booking them for rides. With Genie Plus, you had the option to use Lightning Lanes to bypass some of the popular stationary character meet and greet lines instead of booking your Lightning Lanes for rides. But now, meet and greets have been stripped from the Lightning Lane list entirely. The Festival of Fantasy Parade over in Magic Kingdom also used to have a Lightning Lane that would get you priority viewing of the floats, but with MultiPass, that option has disappeared as well. It's not to say it's going to be a forever change, because as history has shown us, Lightning Lane updates happen all the time. But as of now, don't count on Lightning Lanes to help you skip over those popular character meet and greet lines. Check and see on your My Disney Experience app when characters are scheduled to meet with guests on the day of your visit, since hours are always subject to change for these guys. And while character lines can be a lot shorter when meet and greets first start up in the morning, they can also dwindle down a couple hours before the meet and greets are scheduled to wrap up for the day. Just make sure you're not waiting until the last minute to get in a meet and greet line, because unlike Disney's rides, queues for the characters can close half an hour early to make sure that those characters will be able to see everybody that's currently in line. And this is an oldie but a goodie, and unfortunately you can't do it anymore, and that's convert quick service credits into snack credits. We hear about this a lot from folks in the comments and from people who've been sort of following Disney food hacks for a long time. Before you start planning out how to spend your Disney dining plan credits, you gotta know how it's changed since its prodigal return at the beginning of 2024. One of the biggest changes that we get questions about all the time from you is whether or not you can still convert dining credits to become snack credits. And the answer is no, not really. For those of you who are new to the Disney Dining Plan scene, a credit is the unit of currency for the Disney Dining Plan. There are table service credits, quick service credits, and snack credits. In general, a credit equals 1 meal or snack, though with the standard plan, you might run across a 2-credit meal every now and then. Those are the fancy, expensive ones. So before, if you wanted to snack around a park instead of having a quick service meal, you could convert 1 quick service meal credit into 3 snack credits. But in 2024, Disney took this conversion away and confirmed that you'll now have to use snack credits and meal credits exclusively on what they were originally intended for. So, why did I say not really? Then, if Disney has confirmed this rule change themselves? Well, in the parks today, we've seen what could be considered some variations on this rule. For example, L'Artisan de Glace and Epcot, cast members showed us a chart that indicated that 3 snack selections off the menu there, items such as single or double scoop of gelato, a macaron, or a croque glacé, could be combined to count as a quick service meal credit, which is basically what Disney told us couldn't happen. So yeah, it's all still a little confusing, and one restaurant might tell you something different about the DDP versus what another restaurant tells you in regards to how these new rules work. This is kind of how the DDP has always been. There are stated rules and there are actionable rules, and you never really know which one you're in for. So here's AJ's big Disney Dining Plan advice of the day. Ask questions, receive answers, because you don't want to go through your entire trip just not knowing how to use the plan that you paid so much money for in the first place. But once you receive answers, you got to accept those answers. Your credits are not bargaining chips, and you don't want to put your server in a bad spot by trying to have them bend any rules for you. However, you may want to ask about a similar rule at another location just in case the situation is different over there. But brace yourself, because the answers you receive might not be what you were hoping for. And that's okay. Just thank your cast member for their response and continue to enjoy your lovely meal or snack. Now, one conversion that does work for Disney Dining Plan is converting a table service meal credit into a quick service meal credit. But is this a hack? No. That table service credit is worth a lot more money than a quick service meal, and since you've already paid for that table service credit, you don't want to shortchange it on a meal that you could have paid a whole lot less for out of pocket. But if your plans change and you need to do this, cast members have told us that you can. However, as I said earlier, always double check with the restaurant you're at in case you receive a different answer elsewhere. Okay, so you know that DFB Guide has been your dedicated and reliable home for Disney food hacks for like a bajillion years, right? And we've got so many more Disney World tips and tricks to offer up that are still alive and well, and more that we're discovering in the parks every single day. So if you're ready to keep on discovering new Disney World cheat codes, so to speak, check out another one of our recent videos, like our secret and free Disney hotel upgrades vid, or how to outsmart Disney World in 2025. And speaking of free, don't forget to grab your free DFB guide on how to ride everything at Disney World over at disneyfoodblog.com/DisneyRides. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. This has been a super fun video to write and do and remember old stuff and think about new stuff and future stuff. So really appreciate you being along for the ride on this one. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.